Okay, good morning. So today I'd like to talk to you guys about this 4 drawing design series that we're going to start. I pulled a few out from the cabinet. I think you've all been inside the cabinet before and seen just how many of these I have. Those are them all rolled up. That represents all the landscape drawings. Pretty much, some kids have taken them home, but it's quite the collection that I've had over the 12 years that I've taught this class. So I pulled a few out that we can use for samples and talk about some things, and we'll come back to them periodically as we get started on this project. I've got, I've got Malia Bates here, Taylor Hills over there, and Maria Luther Houghton's is over there. So what I want to talk to you about today, and I'd like you to take a few notes on this, there's going to be a few questions to go along with completing this assignment, is I'm just going to tell you a few things about each one of the plant drawings in the plan series. So it's 4 drawings in the plan series, and each one does a very different job for the project. So the first drawing that you're going to do is going to be this one. It's called the plot plan. What the plot plan has is just the boundaries of the property and the location of the house. And that's it. This is a very basic plan, but it's going to be the starting point for all your other drawings. And you'll get an assignment. This will actually be your next assignment. And I'm going to give you the exact coordinates of what the plot plan is going to look like. And it's a bit of a puzzle to figure out where everything goes. You're going to have your title block with your address, the designer's name, the drawing in the series or the description is plot plan, and then you can see at the end you're going to have your north, which on this drawing has to be specific. I'll give you the instructions for that. And your scale, so you can see that it's 1 inch equals 10 feet. Getting this lined up is going to be a little bit of a puzzle, and it can be frustrating, but we'll get through it together. So that's your very first drawing. It's called plot plan. It's very simple, but it's very specific. And all of your drawings will be exactly the same. As we imagine this project, it's all houses in the same development that a developer created, where he cleared off a piece of property and put a bunch of houses on it. And they're all exactly the same. And I think it's cool that the projects all start exactly the same, but over time, as you go through the process, you create a unique landscape design using your skills and the wants and needs of your customer. So they start exactly the same. They should all of your drawings will look just like this. And then you progress. So your first drawing is called plot plan. Your second drawing is called existing conditions. So what existing conditions does is it's the drawing, and we'll talk about each of these drawings more specifically as we come up to them, but I just wanted you to see them all together the first time. So the existing conditions drawing is what shows you what already exists on the property. So you can see here that Malia has added that there's a driveway on the property, there's surrounding trees, there's mountain views to the western border, and there's some underground electrical service. You're going to take a survey. You're going to go out or have a really detailed description of what's already on the property before you start your project, what already exists. Your second drawing is called existing conditions. So any hardscape that's in place, any buildings, any driveways, any views, any conservation issues, all of those things would come up on the existing conditions drawing. That way, before you start planning what you're going to do, you really know what your property looks like. And this is the first time your plan will be a little bit different. You will all have those existing trees there, but otherwise you might have some different things based on who your homeowner is and what they've already done to the property. Some of you will just have a basic construction site. Some of you will have some other things. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But this is drawing number 2, existing conditions. Drawing number 3 is called your schematic diagram. Now, what you should see here, a schematic diagram is also sometimes called a bubble plan or a goose egg plan. And what you put on your schematic diagram are just your functional use areas, how the property is going to be used in big bubbles or eggs. Nothing really detailed, just how am I going to break up this property? So you can see some vocabulary that should be familiar with you about those functional use areas. There's public area, there are play areas, there are private areas, and there are service areas, and other things that are indicated just to break it up a little bit more so that the designer and the customer are starting to get a sense of how the property is going to be used. There are no trees or hardscape or anything else like that on here, just those bubbles that show how the property is going to be used. So this is your schematic diagram. That will be drawing number 3. It just shows how the property is going to be used. And it also shows your circulation paths. If you can see those arrows on there, that's how Malia was indicating how people are going to move through the property. Your final plan is your master plan. So here, Malia, this is just beautiful. She's put all these things together. Her lettering's beautiful, her drawing's beautiful, her color is beautiful. And this is her master plan. This is her final plan about how the property is going to be used. So plan number 4 is master plan. It has all your hardscape drawn in, all your different classes of plants, all your walk paths, everything that's there is included in the master plan. So that's plan number 4. Okay, so those are the 4 plans. Now we're just going to quickly look at some other samples of these, just so you can see. Here's, because sometimes students do them a little bit differently. So here's Taylor Hill's plot plan. That's that very first, very basic plan. Here's plan number 2 for Taylor. This is existing conditions. That's what's already at the property. Drawing number 3 is your schematic diagram. That's how the property is going to be used and the circulation paths. See how they're just bubbles or loose circles or goose eggs. And then drawing number 4, master plan. All the plants that are there, all the hardscape, her swimming pool, that is her master plan. So we'll look at one more so you can just see how this works, how there will be a little variation over time, especially when you get to the master plan. Those will all be totally different. But here's Maria, starting with a plot plan, drawing number 1, then going out and surveying what's already on the property, existing conditions. Here you can see Maria's property has a barn on it and a driveway. Then drawing number 3, schematic diagram. The schematic diagram just shows how those functional use areas are going to be put in place on the property and the circulation paths about how they're going to move around the property. And then here's Maria's master plan, drawing number 4. So there are 3 examples of the 4 drawings in our design series. I hope these have been helpful for you. It's exciting to start thinking about getting them going, and it'll be different doing them remotely, but we can do this. We can get them done. I'm going to be getting you some tracing paper and some other supplies to make sure that you have what you need. And so let's get drawing. Let's get planning.